Hello friends, hope everything is fine with you guys. In this lecture, we will understand a very important concept in JavaScript, in not only JavaScript, in every programming languages. That is local and global variables. For variable scope, we have two types of variables. One is local variable, another is global variable. Let me show you by using an example. First, let me define a function here. So function, let's write here so local, close parenthesis, and now let's define a variable so where x equals 5. Now let's print it. So document dot write x. Now let's open in our browser and let's see the result. Well, we can't see anything because we didn't call it. So here, let's call the function. Save it, come here, hit refresh. It's natural. We are getting the result, that is x equals 5. Now, let's try to access this variable outside the function. So just copy it, press Ctrl C and just paste it. Let's save it. Come here, hit refresh. Nothing happens. Why? And also it's kind of stop executing it. So why it's happening? Press Ctrl X and just paste it, save it. Well, we can see that previously even our result was not outputting. Why? Because it was getting an error here and hence it is not executing those lines which are after that error. And now it has executed the function because till this it is fine, and it is calling the local function which is executing the value of x, and now it is executing this line where it is getting an error. Let's see what happens. Let's right click on the page and click on inspect element. Let's click on console and see reference error, x is not defined. So why it is happening? We have already defined x here, but then also it is saying that x is not defined. Let's come here and define a variable x equals say 10. Save it, come here, hit refresh. Now it is showing 510. Well, it's confusing, I know. So let's provide a line break here. Let's save it, come here, hit refresh. There you go. So what is happening? So first we are defining a variable x equals 10. Then we are again defining it, that is x equals 5. But this variable is accessible only within this function. And now when we are trying to get the value of x, it is searching that whether x has been defined or not. Previously x was undefined. Why? Because this variable x is only accessible to this local function, not outside the function, and hence it didn't find x. Now when we have defined where x equals 10, now it is getting the result that, oh yeah, here it is, x equals 10, let's output it, and hence it is outputting x equals 10. Let's remove this where x equals 5 because we have already defined x equals 10. Let's hit refresh. Now we are getting 5. Why? Because here we have defined where x equals 10. Now we are defining x equals 5. So we are changing this value of x to 5. And now when it is calling the local function, we are getting the result 5. And again, when we are trying to access the variable x, we are getting the result 5 only because this value is changing. Now when we are defining a variable explicitly, that is variable x equals 5, this variable is for this function only, and let's save it, and hence we are getting 5 when we are calling the local, and else I mean outside this function the value of x will be 10. It is a really important and interesting concept, isn't it? Now it is 10. Now let's provide variable y a value of say 12. Now let's try to access this variable. Now you will see 5, then 12, and then 10. 5, 12, 10. Now again let's copy this and paste it here and try to access y, as we know that nothing will get printed because y is undefined, and we will see the error here. Let's refresh it. Here it is, y is not defined. So now say for example here you want this variable to make global. What you can do, just remove the var keyword, y equals 12, that's it. Now when you were defining a variable without var keyword, that variable will become global. Let's save it, come here, hit refresh. There you go, we are getting the result 12. Let's provide a line break here, save it, come here, hit refresh. What happened? Oh my god. I didn't provide any quote only. So within quotes, just write this one, x plus line break. Now hit refresh. There you go. 5, 12, 10, 12. This is a really very important concept. I recommend if you understood it, that's fine. If you don't, take this lecture one more time. I mean, take a look at this lecture one more time. It is a really important concept, especially if you are doing any project, or if you are a school level student, you are a college level student. It is really important for everyone. Yes, friend. So just go through this lecture one more time, and I want you to grab this concept very much. Yes, friend. It is a really very important concept. I am emphasizing it. Yes, friend. Because I know how important it is, and hence I want that you have a clear concept of this local and global variables. So again I am repeating, friends, if you define a variable inside a function, that is accessible only to that function. Now if you define a variable outside the function, that is global variable. And if you define a variable inside a function, that is local variable. I mean that function is greedy, that function is selfish. Those variables which are defining inside that function, it will not allow others to access that variable. It is really possessive. Yes, friend. So this is the local variable concept. And what is the global variable concept? You can make a local variable into a global variable. How? Just by removing the keyword var from that defined variable, and then a local variable will be converted into a global variable. So that's it, friend. This is a really 3-line concept, but it is a really important concept. So that's it, friends. See you in the next lecture. I hope you have enjoyed it and you have also learned something. So see you in the next lecture. Till then, have fun. Take care.